were down at the Georgia Capitol in Atlanta. We had been down there on Wednesday with a large Tea Party group when the unions bust in a whole bunch of people to have a rally in opposition to Governor Walker in Wisconsin, in opposition to his attempts to bring their budget under control. And so we were down there just standing up for taxpayers who are sick and tired of having budgets out of control in state governments. So then we found out that the socialist group moveon.org was going to be holding nationwide rallies at state capitals on Saturday, so we determined to come back down again and be a voice for the American people. So we were down there today, Saturday, for the noon rally, and the police, the Capitol Police, had us in the same spot again, which was down the block and across the street, sort of catty-cornered to the Capitol, just keeping the two sides apart. So we had our signs, and they had their signs, and so it was just your typical rally and opposing rally, which is the American way. It's what we are allowed to do as part of free speech and so forth. So today we were down there, and I got there about 11:30, and the Capitol Police told me there had already been one incident where someone from the MoveOn side had tried to cause trouble with the Tea Party Patriots, but they had taken care of that. So then for the next hour and a half, everything went pretty smoothly, and so about 1:30 they were wrapping up their rally, and so we were getting ready to wrap up ours as well, and the police were keeping all of them on the other side of the street as they were leaving, going down the other sidewalk so that there wouldn't be any trouble with them coming over on our side. But apparently a couple of them didn't want to avoid trouble and deliberately came around the back side so that they could come down and just push through where we were all standing bunched together on the sidewalk there. So I was standing there on the corner where the two sidewalks meet, and I was facing down the hill, and so out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I get slammed to the side against a wrought iron fence and down to the pavement by one of these two guys that just decided they wanted to push their way through. Very husky guy, but I'm only seeing his back at this point because he's scurrying away like the coward he was. And so I bounced up and took off after him, along with a number of other people around me that were witnesses, and tried to go down after him. He had gotten past the policeman down the street and was again hurrying away. And so we were trying to get down there to get to him because I was going to have them arrest him and press charges. And so tried to do that, but the policeman stopped us. Didn't stop him, just stopped us. We are letting the policeman know in very no uncertain terms that that person had just assaulted me and that I wanted to press charges against him. The policeman said, well, I didn't see it. And I said, but everybody else here did. I've got all these witnesses. I want you to stop him so I can press charges against him. And he just kept saying things like, well, it didn't happen, and I didn't see it, and let's just not do anything. And so there was no way to even go. I mean, we're law-abiding, so we weren't pushing the policeman out of our way. So that guy scurried off into whatever little rat hole he had come out of, and that was the last we saw of that. But I know if we find out who the guy is, I'll be taking him to court and pressing charges.
It was also reported that a petite older woman that was near you was also pushed. Are you aware of that situation?
Yeah, I found out from her right afterwards. There was this older lady that had come. She had a sort of one of those combination walker seats that she used to help her get around and then sit down on. And this older lady was standing beside me when the guy came through and cold-cocked me from behind. And so when he shoved her too. And in fact, when he shoved me, it was her walker thing that I went over and into the wrought iron fence. So he didn't care. He didn't care who he was hitting. He didn't care who he was shoving to the ground. And so he did it to her too. If there are representatives of unions listening to the sound of my voice, If you're not going to step forward and say and denounce that kind of thug behavior, then the names that you're being called and the things that you're being accused of are just going to stick more and more and more, because you're refusing to own up to what these kind of goons are doing. And so you need to fess up, and you need to own up, and you need to denounce these sort of things, and you need to demand that whoever does this sort of thing needs to face retribution in the courts of law. We made sure that in fact, I made a point of making sure that everything stayed where we were supposed to be, and everything stayed as calm as possible, and said, just worry about their side, and I'll make sure everything goes smoothly over here. Even down to the point of where they came to me and said, can we go ahead and end this now, and y'all move on first, and we'll make sure that they don't do anything to you, and then we can get them to go. And I was more than compliant. All of us were more than compliant in doing what the Capitol Police had wanted us to do, and so it was very disappointing to me when this assault happened, and we had a policeman standing there in our way and saying, we can't go after this guy and get him arrested. I've been involved with grassroots activism with conservatives for a good number of years now, and I participated in a lot of rallies. I participated in a lot of protests. I participated in a lot of counter-protests. This is part of the American system. This is our constitutional rights to do so. It was their constitutional right to be there as well. And the police, are there to make sure things don't go wrong. I have seen a lot of things happen at rallies and protests. This is the first time that I have ever been physically assaulted, personally, at a protest or counter-protest. And I think a lot of it has to do with the left and the ones that have been benefiting from the big nanny state for all this time. They're seeing that now the state's broke, and it's going even more broke, and that gravy train is coming to an end. And because of that, this is why we're starting to see this happen more and more. I'm not the first one, and I don't think I'll be the last one. You've got things being taken away from people, and they don't like that it's being taken away from them. So now they're getting really mad about it, and recognizing that they really are going to lose, and they don't like the fact that they're about to lose. They've been winning for decades now. But now they're going to lose, and if they don't lose, they're going to lose anyway, because the country will be lost. And so I think that's why it's happening now. Like I said, I've been involved in activism at the grassroots level for many years, and this is the worst that I've seen things happen. And I hope people will see these kind of things and just wake up to what's really going on in this country.